Hopefully everybody else can hear me on here. Everyone, thanks for joining us in these odd times that we're in. You guys in the trade ought to be pretty busy right now, which is really good. Trade seems to be doing well as a whole. This is something that I kind of conjured up. I spent 40 years in the field. 32 of them I spent my own business with and without different employees. Um, so this wanted to kind of touch base on how the technician makes a difference when he's on site when he finds something wrong. What can that tech do to help that sale along, whether it works for a big company or a small one? So we'll kind of go through it. We'll get started. Hopefully, you guys get everything, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Any questions that come up, use the chat box. Either to Elaine or to everyone, makes no difference. And we'll get those questions answered at the end of the presentation. So let's get moving on this. So this is a guide for the on-site technician. And that's what I tried to key this to. If we get a customer who has a system that has a problem, let's say it's a leaking boiler, or they just want a new boiler, whatever it happens to be, they're going to call the company anyway. This is more of a process for you guys that are on the job and find something that wasn't called for. So you went there for a normal thing. So why should you get involved in that sales process? A lot of technicians say, hey, it's not my job. I'm just there to service it, just there to fix it. Well, there's a reason. You're often the first one that gets there, and you're often the first one to see that there's a problem. Usually, if you're a tech, you've been there before. You may have some rapport with the customer, the homeowner. If you start the sales process as a technician, customer has some trust in you, they're going to believe that that problem is going to be taken care of correctly and pretty timely. You can also get all the needed measurements, all the details, that type of thing. Get things moving. That customer may not know what's going to happen next or what needs to happen next. They're certainly going to be apprehensive. They're going to be maybe a little frightened, a little scared. Oh my God, how much is this going to cost me? You can explain that out pretty clearly. The biggest concern is they don't have any heated hot water. They're going to look for somebody to help them out. And this is what that customer might see, right? And they're going to look to you, the expert, to help them out. And they need help now. Most homeowners, when you tell them their heating system or their hot water system has gone down, they panic. They freak out with good reason sometimes. They don't know any better. They don't know that it's not the end of the world. It can be taken care of. That's where you guys come in. So oftentimes technicians been to that house several times. You might have already recommended an upgrade or replacement for an older obsolete appliance or equipment. Um, hey, could this be the time where the customer is finally convinced that it's time to update that system? They don't have to have a major flood going on. I know that I personally have been on many, many, many jobs over the years in the basement every single year, at least once a year for preventive maintenance and such, and have have noticed something or seen something. That customer know that, geez, this thing's on its last legs. I've seen these boilers here um, a lot in my trade, um, even with the asbestos and whatnot on it. That customer you might have talked to them over and over and over again. This might be the time when you finally say, all right, it's time, and you got to do that. So consider that the average age of a boiler is 15 to 25 years old. Um, most cars are upgraded every 2 or 3 years. Their automobile purchase, usually 3 to 4 times the cost of a heating system. So why do they expect that ancient heating system that's in there to just keep going, and they don't want to spend a quarter of the money they spent on that new car sitting out in the front yard? You got to help them along. As you can see in this particular photograph, somebody's been here. more than once, um, to upgrade, to fix, to repair this dinosaur of a boiler. My guess is that old conversion burner this was originally coal, converted to oil, and then that gas conversion burner took place at some point. That's my guess on this particular one. But I did notice that the three pumps have been replaced, some piping and valves have been replaced. So guys have been there to fix this. Why don't you sell them a new one? That's sometimes the better option for the customer themselves. Um, Oftentimes they don't know what's going on. They know it's aging. They may not be aware of what's going on. As far as what are the benefits of doing this? What am I missing in not upgrading? Sometimes they don't even have an idea that problems have been going on for years and they've just been ignored. So you've got a tech that's been in there. I don't want to deal with this. You walk in a job, you see this. I know what most guys will tell you. Most guys will tell you, turn around and leave. I'll tell you, that's the perfect sales opportunity right there. It's staring you in the face and it's about to hit you in the belly if you don't fix it fairly soon. Educate that customer, make them aware of the problem, show it to them. People will understand if you show them a real problem, a real issue, and you're honest to them. They'll understand that something's going to have to be done. This particular picture right here, I'm looking at it and saying, it might go another year, but it might not. It might flood your basement, and it might put you with no heat or hot water New Year's Day. And you guys in the field know that when something goes wrong, it almost always goes wrong on a holiday, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, that type of thing. Or it goes wrong on the coldest, most frigid, nastiest day of the year. Try to get ahead of that. Try to take care of that while you've got the time. So, an educated customer, that's your best customer. They'll usually take into consideration what your recommendation is. A lot of times they'll do it right now. Um, it's kind of important to push that customer or educate that customer to know exactly what's going on. So consider this. Tech goes to the job site, starts your yearly PM. You find corrosion that's been just building and festering on the outside of that boiler for a long, long, long time. It hasn't shown up as a leak yet. So what do you do? How do you handle that? Um, do you go and grab that customer and tell them, look what's going on and get excited? Nah, get your facts together first. Make sure that it's not something that's simple and repairable. You don't want to panic, and you don't want that customer to be panicked at the same time. If it's not repairable, what do you have to do? Form yourself a little game plan. Um, be ready to let the customer know. Will they be without heat? Will they be without hot water? Because it's going to be their biggest concern. Well, what do I do? I don't have any heat on any hot water. I can't exist. Well, they can, and they will, but you got to let them know that, and you've got to reassure them that it's okay. So if you're working for a bigger company, they got a sales department, and you're supposed to get involved with that sales department, and you should if you're into that type of company. Um, give your sales guys a call. Give them a little heads up. Hey, I'm over at Mrs. house. I got here. The tankless coil plate on this boiler is just ready to fall off. They're really going to need a new boiler. I'm getting things together for you guys, um, helping things along. I'll start the process. Those things there will help get your sales department um, or pricing department, whatever it happens to be, in order. If you're the guy in charge of the pricing, if you're a small company, one man show, make your plan and get your preliminary stuff together. Get a rough guess of what it's going to cost that customer, how long it's going to take, when are you going to be able to do it? Those are going to be the biggest question. How long and when? Price is probably third on the list. When can you do it, and how long is it going to take to get there? Before you talk to them, get all of those facts together. Educate the customer why the leak occurred. something that you've been talking about for 5 years in a row? And hey, Mrs. Jones, we've been talking about this thing for the last 4 or 5 years. It's time. In my opinion, we're done. You can't go any further with this. It's time for you to really go through and replace this. Uh, Give them some options and give them a time frame when you think they'll be able to get back into heat and hot water. How much will it cost? And occasionally we find those that are completely dead and it can't be repaired or shouldn't be repaired. What do you do then? You make that plan to get them on the list of things to do. Most people already know what this thing looks like. This is a pretty ugly one. I might turn and walk away from that one. Not really. That for me is a sales opportunity, right? A it's a way to get your company, um, into number one, a better unit that you don't have to deal with. You don't have to go out and service that thing in the middle of the night if it's brand new and everything is right. Get that customer involved. It's time. All right. Explain what you found and explain it in enough detail and on a level that the customer can understand. If you go through with technical jargon, um, all of the technical numbers and such, most of the time the customer can't really fathom that and they can't understand what's going on with that. So oftentimes you're better off just to take it down to their level as a homeowner who may or may not know any better and explain it to them. Like I said, an educated customer is your best customer. So keep it calm. Don't panic them. Don't say, "Oh, Mrs. Jones, if you don't do this right now, it's going to blow right up. It's going to fill your house with water. It's going to fill your house with smoke. Um, could have, let's say it's got a carbon monoxide leak, something like that." In that case, you're going to explain it to them, but explain it calmly. Don't panic and don't panic that customer. Don't get them into a frenzy because that just goes nowhere. Be confident, right? You've already done your homework. You've already done your plan. So you're confident that you found it, you found what was going on, and you're also confident, or you should be confident, that you know how to handle it and you know what's going to happen next. So give them those options now, um, and give it to them so they understand it clearly. A nice little tool. Get out your portfolio, and everybody should have one. Guys, we all got phones now. You ought to have pictures of your jobs and what's going on, in some sort of portfolio. I used to carry a photo album of different jobs I did, showed the jobs, the job name, even contact numbers of customers that allowed me to share their phone numbers, their names with other customers as references. Use those references. Um, by all means, use that portfolio, to further yourself along and further along your sales. You're going to make that sale, whether or not you're going to make the commission on it or only the company's going to make a commission on it or a profit on it. Doesn't really matter. You're there to do your job, and that's part of it. So here's your chance to shine. Save the customer some serious money. Save yourself some time, right? There it is, guys. Boiler liquid, boiler solder. You fix that boiler right up. Well, here's the deal. $22.95 for a bottle of boiler fluid to stop the leak, or $5,000 to $10,000 or more to fix it and fix it correctly. So you have to ask yourself, if I can sell the boiler stop leak, it lasts a couple of months, it'll buy some time. Is that worth doing? Great question, right? What happens when that sealer stops working? The customer discovers the boiler that you just fixed is leaking again. You think they're ever going to call you again to replace it? They may, but it's not likely. You fixed it and it didn't work. So be aware of that. I mean, in an absolute emergency, you might do this, but have this plan in place with a time frame already done when you speak to that customer. Listen, Mrs. Jones, we can't put a new boiler in here today. We can't get a boiler, get it done, and get it put in today. What I can do is put a very, very temporary stopgap on this thing. I can put some boiler liquid in there that's going to take care of the leak, hopefully. It may slow it down, it may stop it. Then we're going to go ahead and do this. But get the okay to do it. Get the okay from the customer. Make the profit on $5,000 to $10,000 instead of on $22.95. If you put stop leak in that, you leave it for 2 months, you don't have a plan, and you've not informed that customer on what it will cost, what your time frame is, when you can do it, and you've not actually closed any kind of sale, they're going to call somebody else, and they're going to call for someone else's opinion, and that guy's opinion is going to be, that last guy put boiler solder in this thing. What a dope. So so be careful with that, and treat that the way it really should be treated. Do the whole job, make the profit on that whole job, and have a happy customer. These are a couple of installs that I pulled off of our Bosch, one of our Bosch portfolios. And these guys happen to be all in Maine. Um, we had a rep that was real good at going in and taking pictures and such. These are what you want to show that customer. You want to show them what it might look like when it's all done. What is this? What am I going to sell you? What am I selling you that you don't have currently? So we take that nice ugly old boiler, or we take the one that's leaking, and we show them a nice picture of something clean that you've done in the past. This is our work. This is what we do, and this is what you're buying. People don't go and buy a car without seeing it 90% of the time, or without at least seeing some photographs of it and seeing what it might look like. They don't do it. They don't buy furniture that way. They're not going to buy a heating system that way. They may, but this is going to help them decide whether you're the right guy for the job or the next guy with no portfolio is the right guy for the job. Who do you think is going to win? So let them know that you and the company, or your company, whatever it happens to be, can take care of all of those little details. They don't have to worry about it. Explain what might have led up to the failure of that. And education. The more you can educate that consumer, the easier your sale is going to be. Explain the benefits of a new upgraded boiler. How's it going to affect the efficiency of the system as a whole? Bosch Greenstar Boiler got a ton of options that'll fit into any current situation. Um, some easier than others, absolutely. If you're replacing something existing, oil or cast iron or gas cast iron, that Greenstar floor boiler with the manifold already built in might be the best option for both ease of install and efficiency. All right. Greenstar wall boiler might be another option. If you have a customer that has let's say they got that old pink gray dinosaur sitting in the middle of the basement, that's a lot of real estate in that basement. An easy sell would be, listen, we can repipe this. It's a little bit more, but we can repipe everything. We can push this boiler over to this wall over here in the corner where it won't take up as much room, and we can gain you that room in your laundry area that you really want. Think about that, and think about those options for that customer. If the house has already got natural gas or LP, pretty easy, right? Explain the new boiler is going to easily fit into it. If there's no gas in the house, let the customer know that the gas company will bring the gas to the site. Oftentimes people don't know that the LP companies will come and set a tank and a regulator on the outside of the house. You only need to do what's done inside the house. Same with natural gas. The utility is going to bring the gas line. It might not be an option for right this minute. That might be an issue if you're on a time constraint, and use your head on that. That's all works out. Um, but certainly give the options. And a lot of times, like I said, people don't know that that it doesn't cost anything extra most of the time to have the gas brought up. If they currently have oil and they want to continue using oil, and I'm only giving you guys the options on this, the Baderis line. Bosch owns Baderis. They have a great cast iron line, the G115, G215 boilers. Don't hesitate to use those if you're changing out, let's say it's an oil boiler with a tankless that has a hard time. Hey, that brand new G115 boiler with a nice quality indirect fired water heater from Boderis, absolutely. Great combination. But if they're open to high efficiencies and they're open to switching over or already have gas of some sort, that Greenstar boiler is going to be the easiest and the best thing you can put into that system. So don't walk away from that sale until you give all the options to the customer, and make sure you listen to any concerns they might have and make sure you address those concerns right now. If you don't have the answer right now, get it. Get it from your sales department, whatever it is. My suggestion might be, if you can do it, have pricing, availability, and your time frame within 24 hours at the very, very most. Most people will, if you're timely, most people will sign a contract or say, go ahead and do the job right now. So help them realize that an upgrade to that modern and efficient equipment way more benefit than just making heat and hot water, way more benefit than just getting their system back up and running. Um, it's really kind of a no-brainer to let them know that. Explain efficiency. Show them a return on their investment. Show them that there's a payback in real dollars if you update that system to an efficient, modern piece of equipment. A lot of times the payback on equipment upgrades, 2 to 5 years. Some are a little longer, some are a little shorter. It's pretty easy to figure it out if you figure that, let's say, a new Greenstar boiler compared to that big old um, nice gas wasting boiler that takes 40 minutes to start showing some heat. Um, let's say you're dealing with that. You could easily save them 25% on their fuel bills. That could be pretty big if they're using $2,000 a year. It's $500 a year. So on a 5,000 system, a 10-year payback. A lot of times you're going to be less than that. A lot of times the payback's going to be much shorter than that. But it's not only efficiency, it's also the longevity, it's warranty, it's all of the above. I believe that we have Bill Steiger involved here today, and I believe he's actually on the call here with us now. So Bill and I kind of came up with some of this together in hopes that we could help this out. Bill Steiger is a regional sales manager in the Chicagoland area. So he is the upper Midwest. And I'd invite him to come in if you're available, Bill. Well, I'm seeing him on the screen. He might be chiming in here.
I'm trying to unmute him. Bill, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Nice.
Thank you.
So, Bill, you've been in this for a little while, and you've been in the business for a little while, in the business of selling and so on.
Yeah. All right, so you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you quite well.
Can you still hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, good. All right, sorry. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
No big deal.
I'd like to break into this in a way to say, how does Greenstar relate to a homeowner, right? How do we help that customer sell a boiler? And the way to relate to that is that Greenstar has 4 things that it gets us that nobody else really has in the industry, right? The first thing is we have an aluminum magnesium silicon sandcast heat exchanger, and that's unique compared to anything else in the market, right? A lot of other wall hung and floor boilers are using stainless steel, and we're not, right? Our unique heat exchanger gives us the best heat transfer, the smallest size, and the easiest cleaning. And another key point to that heat exchanger is that it gets us a 5-year cleaning interval. Every other boiler on the market needs to be cleaned annually. So you as the contractor have to try to get that customer to let you in once a year and charge them a few $100s to clean the boiler heat exchanger. With Greenstar, you can actually tell a customer, look, if I install this boiler, I'll come inspect the boiler for a low fee, 100, 100 and a quarter, 150, and I'll check out your boiler and make sure everything's okay. But I only need to clean it every 5 years, sir or ma'am. So you wind up saving them a lot of money over the life of the boiler because they're not paying as much to clean it every year. And that's a huge, huge advantage in Greenstar. Another big advantage for you that translates into an advantage for a customer is that all 18 wall and floor model Greenstars have the same key identical parts. And that means that the distributor only has to carry one set of parts for all 18 models, wall or floor, from 57,000 to 151,000 BTU. And that means you only have to have a very limited amount of parts on your truck to fix any Greenstar that's out there. How does that translate into efficiency for the homeowner? Well, you have the parts and the distributor has the parts. And on a Saturday morning or a Saturday evening when there's a call, it's a lot easier to get a part when it's local, or if you have it, than it is to get it from us back east and you're out in Chicago or somewhere else in Colorado or somewhere like that. And finally, the Greenstar has a CRC 200 controller that does indoor and outdoor reset, or both simultaneously. And it's the only one in the market that does that. So the CRC 200 is really easy to use. It comes with every wall boiler. You as a contractor, if you walk into a home that has a condensing boiler and you still want to use your TACO controls that are there, you can do that and wire those to terminal TT on our Greenstar. But you can still hook up our CRC 200 controller to the digital 2 wires of the Greenstar and let it do outdoor reset or do indoor reset in the biggest room. And it'll modulate that boiler over a wider range when you're using it. And that translates into more energy savings using our controller compared to anybody else's. A little bit about the system, right? We have these 5-year cleaning intervals, high efficiency, low maintenance. We have the same key identical parts for all wall and floor. And we have the CRC 200 controller. And our warranty is one of the best in the industry, right? 5-year parts and labor warranty on the whole boiler, limited lifetime on the heat exchanger. And if a contractor is an ABC contractor of ours, they get 6 years parts and labor, and they get an extra year on the heat exchanger. The heat exchanger is full warranty up to 10 years normally, and then prorated after that. And if he's an ABC contractor, you go 11 years on the heat exchanger, full warranty, and then prorated to that. So these unique selling points of Greenstar are truly different, right? Compared to any other boiler that you're hanging out there or installing. This boiler is a German designed and engineered boiler. We have our unique heat exchanger. We have 5-year cleaning interval. It is the world's most popular residential boiler. So you can walk into a homeowner and say, this isn't just some small boiler company out there. This is the best-selling boiler in the world. We can do heat only or tankless domestic hot water heating with combis. That'll do 2 bathtubs, 2 showers. We can do indoor and outdoor temperature reset or a combination that's unique to Bosch. And this is made by us in our factories using the Bosch production system and tooling, right? We monitor every nut and bolt and screw and process just like we build automotive components, just like we build appliances, right? It's a very tightly controlled manufacturing process with the industry-leading warranty. And again, there are almost 30 boiler competitors out there in the United States. We're one of only 3 companies that has a wall and floor mounted boiler. And by the way, we're the only company that shares all the common service parts between wall and floor mount boilers. And the floor mounts have a built-in low loss header that saves you time and money, right? Because I got a built-in low loss header. I don't have to buy one and sweat pipe and install it from a distributor. It's a direct replacement for cast iron boilers like Rick said earlier. Next slide, Rick. There we go. When we look at all models, right, the Greenstar Tom 151 can do 4 gallons a minute. What's really important to note here is that it'll do 4 gallons a minute, which is 2 showers, but our heat out is very high, higher even than some of the competitors' 199 boilers, right? We bring in 151 and we can get 137.5 out for heat output. So we can heat a very large house with a very, very efficient boiler. Next slide, Rick. Finally, when you look at the overlap of boilers, we go from 57,000 BTUs all the way up to 151 as an input. You can see our ranges here in heat only and in combi boilers. It's a broad range across a wide range of boilers, right? We can go from a very small pole barn all the way up to a normal full-size 4 or 5 bedroom house. 10 wall hung models with 95% of the same parts. There are combis in 100, 131, 151, and there are 2 pro models. And there are 8 floor models with 95% the same parts. Again, the wall and floor, aside from the can, they share all the common parts. The heat exchanger is the same, the gas valve, the pump, the condensate trap, all the sensors are the same, the control panel is the same. When we talk about the floor model, some key components, aside from the same key components as the wall, it's a very small footprint. The wiring connections are all external. They're pre-wired and marked low voltage and high voltage. On the left side of the boiler, we have water supply and turn and the gas connection. And on the right side, if it's a combi, it'll have the domestic hot water connections. And finally, that integrated low loss header is built in. Rick, if you go to the next slide, I think we have the low loss header in a little more detail. There we go. Beautiful. So that boiler ships ready for a single zone application. And if you've got a multi-zone house, you're just going to unscrew that cap with a pipe wrench. You're going to pull the plunger off of that and screw the cap back on. I will tell you this, when you open that up, there's going to be a little bit of water down there. Why? Because every Greenstar has been tested at the factory with water and fire. So there might be a little bit of water down in the bottom of that header, but it's okay. You can tell the homeowner, look, there's water because we tested it. We ran every one of them. When we look at the floor boiler, if you look at the controller of that, it's the same controller we have on the wall. It's just at the top instead of at the bottom. The gas connections, the circulating pump, the domestic hot water plate heat exchanger, they're all the same as they are. The only difference is the size of the can and that low loss header being built in the bottom. A little bit about our plate heat exchanger. This is not necessarily unique to Bosch. This is a pretty common plate heat exchanger to make domestic water with various boiler companies. This is one piece we don't make ourselves. That's okay. This is a high strength stainless steel heat exchanger. And believe it or not, there's 20 very small passages that transfer boiler water heat to the domestic hot water side. 10 of them pass boiler water, 10 for domestic hot water. Right? Hot water is limited to 140 degrees, and we'll do 4 gallons a minute at a 72-degree temperature. Right? But again, we can put that full 137,000 BTUs of energy towards making hot water on the output side, which is really a wonderful thing for such a small boiler. We always say keep it clean. You wouldn't put old antifreeze in your car, right? You're only going to put new antifreeze in the car. The passages of this combi are pretty small. You don't want to run old, dirty water through it because Kundenschmutz is not a warranty case, right? Kundenschmutz is German for customer dirt. We didn't put the dirt in there, but if you connect this to an old boiler system without flushing it, you're putting the dirt in there. We also use a magnetic boiler filter on the boiler side of the system to catch any impurities. And if you've got domestic hot water in a combi and you're on a well, you might want to use a Y strainer or some other kind of water filter before it goes into the boiler to keep this thing clean. Because if you call tech on this and you ask them how to clean it, they're going to say replace it because we have no way of flow testing it. So your best bet is to keep the Kundenschmutz out of that. I'm going to turn it back over to Rick to talk about warranty. Thanks for coming to our webinar today.
Bill, thank you. Thanks very much. For helping out with that and kind of keeping us up to date. Bill did allude to our warranty is one of the best in the business. 5-year parts and labor. So the labor on it is a fixed labor amount. It doesn't give you exactly the labor that you might charge, but it does. They're reasonably generous. The heat exchanger block itself, limited lifetime warranty on that, 95% AFUE. So again, Bill also alluded to an ABC contractor having the ability to get an extended extra 1 year on that would give you a 6-year parts and labor warranty on that particular boiler. So the ABC program, look into the Bosch Training Academy. So we have our E-Academy, which is something that's reasonably new. It's been around for a while. It was a little different with the ABC program. The new E-Academy is taking kind of the place of the training and such that we had with the ABC program. ABC contractors, if you sign up to be an ABC, are going to get, number one, you're going to get that benefit of an extra year of warranty. You're going to get some help with literature, advertising, truck decals, that type of thing. Also gets you a separate phone line for tech support. You're going to be able to get to tech support quicker than the guy that's not the ABC. There is a separate line. If your number, let's say you're an ABC contractor, there's 5 in the queue above you, you're going to go straight to the top. Those 5 are going to wait if they're not ABCs. In our training academy, training.boschprohvac.com, that's our e-academy. That's where you're going to find all of your information, all your quizzes, what classes there are, what courses you're going to sign into. So this gives you how to log on and how to take a quiz on this. There's a 10-question quiz on this particular presentation. Should be reasonably easy to pass that quiz. I wrote it, so the questions aren't really difficult. But you got to go in there. You got to show your interest. The other thing you can get as an ABC contractor is you can get some bonus points for sales. So as you sell, you're going to get some points. Those points are going to turn into money for you guys. A brief slide about tech support. So 1-800-BADERIS or 1-800-283-3787. That's your tech support line. Try to be on site when you call. Try to have as much information as you can. We do have a frontline operators that will take all of that information. They're going to give you a customer number or an incident number. All of that customer information, the model, serial number, the fault codes, what gas pressures, what electric voltages. Do your basic troubleshooting. Use your brain, your ears, your eyes, your hands, your most important tools, as I call them, to see what's going on and let those tech guys know what's going on and have all your tools on site. Be safe. Don't leave any job until you're 100% sure it's safe. Last guy that worked on it owns it. And it's just not a good thing for somebody to get hurt, injured, or otherwise, even worse, under your charge. So do your homework, guys. Make sure you do a decent job on that. Contact info for us. Again, that 800-283-3787 is going to get you to pretty much anything in Bosch world, in Bosch thermotechnology world. Somebody's going to answer that phone. They're going to direct you to the right place. Our corporate website is boschthermotechnology.us. Our ABC program is bosch-abcpartner.com. Our e-academy, training.boschprohvac.us. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. We're there. We're all over the place. You guys don't hesitate to comment on these sites and use some of them. There's a lot of good guys out there. I know that our Bosch ABC or accredited Bosch contractor on Facebook, that site there has just a plethora of different contractors and technicians. You can bounce questions off of those guys all day long. And Bosch will also chime in there if there's an issue or something going on. So don't be afraid to use your social media either. Put up your nice pictures. Put up that portfolio that you have. A lot of those photos that I have came from that site. So again, our contact stuff is right there. This is who we are. That's the end of my presentation. Anybody got questions, please ask. I'm happy to answer anything you've